You know, history doesn't always repeat itself, but when it comes to gold, it sure does like to rhyme. Every major run-up in gold's price from the 1970s to today has followed a familiar pattern. Inflation flares up, governments spend more than they should, and people start looking for something real to hold on to. Now here's where it gets interesting. According to Kitco News, gold is in the midst of what could be its third major bull cycle since 1971. And if history is any guide, we may not have seen the full story just yet. Russ Mold, investment director at A.J. Bell, recently pointed out that gold's up about 45% in dollar terms over the past year, beating out major indexes like the NASDAQ and the Nikkei. But instead of calling this the top, he took a step back and looked at the bigger picture. He found a pattern that's played out again and again. Big moves up, temporary pullbacks, and long-term strength driven by the same familiar forces: inflation, government debt, and global uncertainty. He reminds us that the first great run began when President Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard back in 1971. At that time, gold was just $35 an ounce. But as inflation and oil prices surged through the decade, gold peaked at $835 by 1980. Now, it wasn't a smooth ride, not even close. There were several times when gold dropped 20% or more, testing people's patience. But despite those bumps, the long-term direction stayed remarkably clear. And that's the thing about gold. Even when it takes a breather, it tends to hold its ground through the bigger storms. You see, periods like these, when inflation sticks around and global uncertainty starts to build, they remind people why they've trusted physical gold and silver for generations. So hey, if you've ever wondered how those metals can fit into a long-term strategy, well, Goldco's free gold and silver kit is a great way to start. It's a simple, easy-to-read guide that explains how owning real gold and silver, not paper, not digital, can help bring a sense of balance and stability to your overall savings. There's no cost, no obligation, just clear information that helps you understand how it all works. You can request your kit at any time at goldco.com. Now, after that 1980 peak, gold went quiet for a while. It hibernated during the early 80s when Paul Volcker's high interest rates made it tough to hold metals. But when rates came back down and economies loosened up, gold began another long climb, the second big run starting in the early 2000s. This one had a different spark: low interest rates, central bank stimulus, and massive money printing after the 2008 financial crisis. And once again, Mold noted that even during that climb, gold did not move in a straight line. There were dips, corrections, bear markets, but through it all, it kept doing what it's always done: holding value through uncertainty. And while paper-based options like gold ETFs became popular during that time, many people realized something important. They're not the same as holding the real thing. ETFs might follow the price of gold, but physical gold and silver represent direct ownership. You can hold them, see them, and they're not tied to anyone's balance sheet or system. That difference, the tangible versus paper, is what gives physical metals their lasting appeal. Fast forward to today, and Mold calls this our third major bull market for gold, one that's been quietly building since around 2015. Through ups and downs, corrections in 2016, 2018, 2020, and 23, gold has shown its staying power once again. And if you look around, the same ingredients that fueled past cycles are all still here: rising debt, sticky inflation, global tension, and growing questions about central banks' next move. He also pointed out something really interesting about affordability. Back in 1971, before the gold standard ended, 1 ounce of gold represented about 1% of the U.S. average household's income. By 1980, it was over 9%. Today it's sitting at around 6.5%, so historically speaking, gold might still have room to run before it reaches that same point of strain. Now, no one can predict exactly where prices will go, and that's not the point. What history does show again and again is that through inflation, debt, and global change, gold has remained a steady, tangible constant. And if you've been thinking about how physical metals could fit into your own long-term plans, Goldco makes it straightforward. When you open a qualified account, you could receive up to 10% instant match and bonus silver, actual physical silver that goes right alongside your holdings. And as a thank you for getting started, Goldco will also send you a free Ronald Reagan half-ounce silver coin, a beautiful historical piece honoring one of America's great leaders. It's a simple educational way to explore how physical gold and silver can strengthen your savings with something real and lasting. So whether gold's current run is halfway through or nearing its next high, history keeps whispering the same reminder. The world changes, but gold endures. Hey, if you'd like to understand how it can play a role in your long-term strategy, visit goldco.com today and request your free gold and silver kit. It's a timeless way to start learning about the real value of holding something that has stood strong through every economic chapter.